Well, it is back to school season, and some parents are making a very controversial addition to their college kids supply list. Watch.
My kid's going to college in the fall, and here is the health kit that I made her. This one is an important one. If anyone is ever at a party, or if anyone is in the dorm and has an overdose, it's probably good to throw in some Narcan.
We'll go around the couch. One of my first questions would be, how simple is it to administer that? Does everybody know how to do that?
Yeah, there was an article in the BU School of Public Health that few college students actually know how to administer this nasal spray. She was holding up the nasal spray version of Narcan that you would use in the event, as she had mentioned, of an overdose. And this huge comprehensive study was done a few years ago, and it talked about just 15% or so could actually administer it effectively and be able to reverse the actual effects of the opioids in that case. Now, what's interesting about this, too, I think, are that there could be students that are concerned about being held responsible in the event. Right. And some universities have put in what's called a Good Samaritan policy that okays helping in the event of someone having a drug overdose or alcohol issues, that it's okay to step in and to do something. So that's something to consider and factor in when you're making your go bag for college.
So the reason I think that point is important, Paul, is because maybe parents wouldn't choose this. Maybe they would want somebody to call 911 first. I know you don't have a lot of time for a fentanyl, for example, overdose, but maybe your choice would be, no, you don't empower the kids to do this. You have somebody on hand who's a pro.
One of the things that being an investigator taught me was always examine the premise. And the premise here is that we're calling them all kids. They're 18.
Oh.
So the idea here that it is somehow a question of what the parents should be doing for their 18-year-old, and are they being too helicopter-y, for lack of a better term, I think is the wrong question. The right question would be, we're sending you off to school. No, you're going to school. You're an adult now. I'll give you a heads up on this. This is the stuff you should be aware of, but make your own choices. Now, that said, I support this, and I have a feeling I'm going to get beat up on this, but I like this just because the stakes are so high. Even if you feel like it's helicopter-y, you have people that could die. So that being the case, in seconds. So do it. Yeah. But I think the deeper point is you're 18 now. You can go fight in a war. You can do all kinds of other stuff. Let's not infantilize them. Go out, be an adult now. These are the metrics. These are the things you need to worry about. Go forth and make your own choices.
I was 17 when I went to college, by the way. A lot of kids are younger.
Same. And where I went to college, we had a lot of safety briefings and trainings and stuff in the Greek system, and I was really grateful for that. And they helped to educate young men and women on safety issues and alcohol and things like that. That I think it set the tone that it was serious. That there's a lot of risk here when you are partying hard and having a great time. The impairing of judgment and the options and whatnot. So I think when I think about this, I think of incorporating it into first aid kits in fraternities or homes. And if you sort of put it into the larger fabric, the reality that our country has been totally afflicted by fentanyl poisonings. And to your point, take out from it the, here's your lunchbox, kid, but really empowering these individuals to know, you know what, this isn't our college anymore. This isn't a Bud Light in a bottle anymore. Things could get really scary. So you need to be aware before you make those choices of putting something up your nose or in your mouth.
And if you're taking it with you, know how to use it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree. I think the stakes are so high, and Narcan saves lives. I mean, this is one of those miracle drug, or whatever. It is a prescription. It used to be a prescription. It's antidote. Right. I'm trying to think of the technical term. These miracle development of science that we have that can reverse these horrific overdoses. Obviously, we also need to continue fighting the fentanyl and opioid crisis, right? We need to fight the cause of these overdoses. But if there is something that kids can learn how to use, I agree with you, Emily. Getting these trainings about what to do if your roommate has had too much to drink. We had those when I was in college, what to do. I mean, they can literally save lives because we've seen too many horrific, sad stories of college students. Yeah. Lives cut short because of one dumb night.
And not to get it twisted, you wouldn't use Narcan for alcohol.
No, of course not. You use it for a fentanyl overdose. But what I'm saying is we had training about what to do if your roommate is unconscious from alcohol poisoning, right? We got those trainings. Students should still get those. I think they still drink in college. I don't know. I'm a little older now. But this is the sort of modern day version to that. of something that treats a drug overdose that's even more dangerous than what we were dealing with alcohol.
Actually, the schools should be putting in the training when you come onto campus. You know, when you
Exactly.
they give it,
orientation.
put this as part of orientation, and also the
Defibrillator?
active shooter stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a good idea for liability purposes.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true too. Just real quickly, because you had mentioned something during the commercial break to me, and that is that, you know, colleges, some of them will have these kits in a dorm or whatever.
Yes, in hopes that, you know, the RAs and that there will be people on campus that are also trained to use this, in addition to if it's going with your child or young adult to college, that there hopefully would also be dispensers in dorms. Everything's changed, so that exists in the world, and hopefully it exists when people need it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.